Is it recording?
Hello, I'm Tricia Sumich from ECA WA, and today I'd like to introduce Ken Rogers, and Ken will be talking to us about depression.
Yeah, hi again, everyone. Yeah, depression is a really important topic for us to be aware of. It impacts, or mental health impacts, big time in Australia and all around the world. Depression is a really critical mental illness to be aware of. As I say, and mental illness itself can impact on 20% of the Australian population at any one time. So 1 in 5 of us going through this very challenging thing. So what I'll do is I'll bring up the slides and we'll kick it off. There we go. Great, so that's all started. So depression is a topic. So let's have a look. Let's think about it. What is depression? It's so much more than a low mood. It's something that really drags us, and it can be a very, very serious illness. We all feel sad, moody, low from time to time, but depression is much more than fleeting than these. It's a much more intense, long-lasting. It can often come without reason. It can just come out of the blue. People who are depressed find it really hard to function every day. It becomes a real slog. And it's been called the common cold of psychological illnesses. It's one of the most common. As I say, 5% of Australians are suffering from depression at any one time, so 1 in 20. 15 will have an episode of major depression at some stage in their lives. And this year, and this is pre-COVID cases, more than 264 million people of all ages suffer from depression. And in Australia, about 1 million people have depression, according to the Beyond Blue website. So impacts big time. It's a really serious illness. If someone has a broken arm, we all see that. If someone's suffering from depression, it's something that needs support. So some of the symptoms, and it goes right across the scale from feelings, thoughts, behaviour, and also physically. Feeling completely overwhelmed, feeling guilty for stuff that's not our fault, feeling really scratchy, irritable, often frustrated, lacking in confidence, really unhappy, indecisive, not sure about what we're doing, getting really disappointed, feeling just miserable, and feeling sad. Blue is we're all pretty much aware of it. Some of the thoughts: I'm a failure, it's my fault, nothing good ever happens, I'm worthless, life's not worth living, people will be better off without me. It can lead to suicidal thoughts and suicide in some occasions. So very important to be aware of it and support people. Behaviour: I'm not going out anymore, not getting stuff done, withdrawing from our family and friends, sometimes relying on substances, alcohol and sedatives and illegal drugs. Not doing the stuff that used to make them happy, and not really finding it hard to concentrate. And some of the physical symptoms: they're just tired all the time, feeling sick, run down, headaches, physical pain, the gut's a bit sore, sleeping difficulties, sleeping problems, change or loss of appetite, and also importantly, significant weight loss or gain can also be some of the symptoms. So specifically, according to, to the medical fraternity, if someone for more than 2 weeks has been feeling sad, down or miserable most of the time, or lost interest or pleasure in most of their usual activities, if you tick yes to either of those questions, well, have they lost or gained a lot of weight? Have they had sleep disturbance, felt slowed down, restless, excessively busy, or felt tired, had no energy, or felt worthless, guilty, had poor concentration, difficulties thinking, or very indecisive, had recurrent thoughts of suicide or death? If you add those ticks up, a score of 4 or less is less likely to be depression, but a score of 5 or more means you are likely to have depression. And if it appears to be a problem, it's really, really important to get a medical assessment. And from there, very likely a referral to a psychologist or a psychotherapist. Having thoughts of suicide is really serious, and if people are having these thoughts, it's really important to get urgent action. Try and make sure they get to a doctor or 24-hour crisis line, a medical emergency line, or outpatients at hospitals or in the emergency units. Really critical if because impacts big time. So what's some of the causes? Okay, as I say, it can be a whole bunch of different things. Hormonal changes, trauma, obesity can be a cause. Your genes, your personality can also impact. Alcohol, substance use, poor sleep, insomnia, medical conditions, treatment, chronic stress, anxiety can all lead to depression. Okay, so some of the specific triggers. Depression itself is rarely the result of one single factor, but rather a combination. And it can be part of your personality, part of your biology, your history, current life circumstances, recent stressful events, your style of thinking. And it also can be in response to really stressful life events. Okay, so marriage or relationship issues, being isolated socially. And loneliness itself can be really critical. Loneliness, not aloneness, which is different. Job loss, impact, serious illness diagnosis can lead to depression, physical disability, bereavement, divorce, and impacting on your reputation. Your loss of reputation can impact. When people retire, they feel it challenged. So the increased likelihood of depression when several events occur within a short period of time is some of the triggers. The highlighted ones that I've got there in bold could be some of the stuff that could be coming from COVID as well. Stressful events. COVID's really changing the world of people. Not so much in Western Australia, but certainly elsewhere in the world and across Australia, really finding it difficult. So what can you do? Well, there's lots you can do. Okay, the psychological treatments. Certainly, the first point of call is getting to see your GP. Mindfulness support groups. GP could be helpful for medication if that's what's required. And we'll go through some of these now. Coffee, be clear of it. Exercise, really important, and just watch what you drink. So the specific psychological treatments used by psychologists, psychotherapists, and it really, really crucial in helping people recover. And the treatment's basically called cognitive behaviour therapy, but it's talking therapy. It can change the way when you talking with someone who's depressed, can help change the way that you think and take away some of what they call stinking thinking. Some of the thought patterns and self-talk are often really unhelpful. They can change the way that we react to certain situations. Look at major sources of stress in their lives. I've done also a short 10-minute one on stress as part of this series of presentations. It might be helpful to look at that. Work on resolving interpersonal relationship issues and make important changes to their lifestyle and their personal priorities can be really helpful in terms of that. And that can often help and occur after a psychological session with a psychologist. GPs themselves can prescribe medication if required, and psychiatrists are specialists in prescribing medication for mental health problems as well. So they're the ones that can prescribe medication. And again, helping to manage thoughts is really important. So negative thoughts can lead to a negative emotion. Negative way we look at ourselves in terms of our perception can impact on our mood and can lead to depression. So taking care of yourself is really important. So in terms of overcoming depression, changing our cognitions, when someone becomes depressed, their thinking often becomes really negative. So we need to challenge those self-defeating thoughts that can help perpetuate the depression. Change our behaviour, do things that enhance our mood and help us feel good again. Engage in pleasurable activities. If you haven't played 10-pin bowling for a while, go play 10-pin bowling, whatever it might be. Talk to your family and friends. Physical exercise is really, really critical. Try and problem solve and work out what's going on. Work that for yourself. Being in control of your own, what you do is really important. And set yourself some goals. So there's a faulty thinking checklist here that you can pause and have a bit of a look at and tick the box. Are you assuming the worst here? Do you jump to negative conclusions? Are you condemning yourself as a person just on the basis of one or two events, which is called labelling? Are you ignoring your strengths and focusing on your weaknesses? So filtering exactly on what you are and focusing on the negatives. Are you focusing on the negative aspects but ignoring the positive? Again, filtering. Are you seeing things in black and white while ignoring the grey? Are you blaming yourself for stuff that isn't your fault? You're personalising these issues. Are you making gross generalisations on the basis of just a few experiences? So overgeneralising. And are you overgeneralising about something that isn't really that bad? It's called awfulising. So there's stuff there. Our thinking can be faulty, so just consider that. Some Socratic questioning can be really helpful as well. So our thinking's highly error-prone when we are depressed. So these questions can really help to evaluate our depressive thinking. So what are the facts and what are your subjective perceptions? What are you thinking? What evidence supports those thoughts? What evidence contradicts those thoughts? Are you making any errors in your thinking? What's the alternative, more balanced view? Again, just trying to be really practical and logical where you can, and trying actually self-questioning is really, really important. So another technique is structured problem solving. So single out a problem that's worrying you and write it down. Work out what options you've got. and write them down as well. Look at the pros and cons, taking into account what you've got, friends, people you can talk to, what you can actually do in terms of money. It all depends on what the problem is. Choose your best option to deal with it, list the steps that you need to carry out, then carry out the plan, record how it went, and then monitor yourself against that structured problem-solving space. It can be really, really helpful. Schedule positive events. Pleasure. Go for a walk, write in a diary, and have a chat to someone on the phone, take a bath, look at some old photos, write poetry, go for a swim, playing games on the computer, cook a nice meal, relax to music, play cards, and set yourself some achievement activities. Say to yourself, I'm getting out of bed before 7, I'm going to do some stuff. Look at fixing something, work in the garden, finish a job that you have started but haven't finished as yet. Drive somewhere special, work on a special project, write a letter, clean up a bedroom, sweep out a cupboard, mow a lawn, initiate some activity with your children. And helping someone else can often be really, really helpful in terms of supporting others. Again, just some ideas. The behaviour that you work out for yourself is something that's important to you. But again, scheduling positive events can be helpful when one's feeling depressed. I'd like to thank you for listening to this one. I hope it's been of assistance. Thank you.